Guys, it has taken us a while to get around to it. We're going to look at one of the most striking, attractive, interesting knives that Cjrb has done. It's one of their really good budget button locks. So let's turn us around and look at the Cjrb Frack. All right, guys, we're finally getting back around to the Cjrb Frag. It's one of the newer knives that Cjrb has done, and I absolutely love this one. It's not just that it's a good design. It's an aesthetically pleasing design that is still really functional. It's one of those crazier, weirder looking knives that I dig. I mean, it's not over the top crazy, but it definitely has some interesting lines to it. So Cjrb has been doing some of the best button locks in the budget realm for a while now, and this is absolutely in that same vein. Now, there are several different versions of this. Let's get some specs out of the way, do some size comparison, then we'll talk about those things. So first off, you're looking at 8.9 inches overall, and it does feel larger than that. It feels like it should be longer, and I think it's because there's just so much grip you can get on these handles. 3.9 inch blade length. Now the cutting edge is going to be a little bit less than that because it does have that large choil. It's done in ARPM9 steel. It is a very interesting looking drop point, and the weight is coming in at 5.04 ounces. Now that's a little heavier, but this version is the all steel version. There's a titanium version in S90V and stuff like that, so you can get some different weights. Let's get some knives out for size comparison, and I'm only going to use the same 3 knives every time from now on. So your first knife's going to be the Spyderco PM2. This is a knife that a lot of people are going to know, tip to tail. It's a good bit bigger than the PM2. Let's move on to the next one. The Benchmade 940. As you can see, it is way bigger than the 940. And your final knife for size comparison, as always, is the Chris Reese Benz, a large 21, a knife a lot of people are going to know. I've tried to pick 3 knives now that I use every time that everyone's going to have a good point of reference, because just putting it on a size scale doesn't give you a good, reference. So let's get this out of the way and talk about this awesome knife. So I picked this up at the California Custom Show directly from Artisan. I actually have 2 of them here right now, exactly the same. So I used one for testing, and then this one is the one that I'm going to use for videos and stuff like that. So I definitely did enjoy carrying this knife. So you're looking at a really well done drop point blade that is radiused from tip to heel, and done in a fashion. It's not too sharply radiused, so you don't give up a lot. I like a nice straight blade more akin to a Warncliffe because I don't lose the cutting capability to the tip when it slips off material. But this doesn't seem to do that because it is a slight radius. The behind the edge thickness is really good. They did a good job on this flat grind. The blade is done in an attractive fashion. It's definitely got some predatory looks to it. It looks like something like a crab's claw or something like that. I really don't know what it reminds me of, but it definitely has some really cool lines, lots of facets. This is done in the steel handles with the button lock. There is only a button lock version of this, and it's done in the frag pattern. Now, the frag pattern on this is very good. It is enough to be tactile, enough to be grippy, not feel slippery, but also not be sharp. It doesn't tear up pockets when you go in and out of pocket. The action on this, their button locks are great. I have to say, they really are leading the pack when it comes to good budget button locks. There's other companies that are doing them too, but I think they have the largest line of really good budget button locks. The weight on it, this one's a little heavier, but the weight on it is really nicely balanced. It's distributed across. That's what I like about this versus the titanium version. Titanium version felt a little too light. This just has a really good neutral balance. The button lock on it, just amazing how good it is. Now, this is not as heavy as you would really expect with it being steel because there's a lot of weight reduction done in there. So the feel of it in hand when you cut, you've got multiple hand grips. This is a very, very generous handle. You can definitely get up on this in different positions and not feel like you're cramped. This is a knife for guys with big hands. It's a beautiful one. The forward choil allows you to get in a different grip. It really feels like 2 different knives. Hang on a second, garbage trucks here. Sorry about that. What I was saying, is there's a drastic difference in the way this knife feels when you get up on it here versus the way you've got it back here. And it just feels like two different knives. The way it cuts is different too, because when you're up on it, you're more in this power cut, and there's a dipped out area right here for you to get your thumb on when you're in that choil. The aperture on it, super good. That is a beautiful aperture. And not only is it super functional, it is very attractive. I like the way it looks with that great big hole in the blade. I found that knives with large apertures really appeal to me. Now, some people have complained that like some of the button locks are sticky. This, I have not had an issue with it, but I'll tell you a little trick just to get out of the way. If you take your knife apart and put a little bit heavier grease down in the pocket, your button stick will go away. It's in the pocket. It's not in the actual thing. So at any rate, yeah, the way this cuts, really good. It's done in ARPM 9 steel, which is a very good steel in my opinion. I love it as a budget steel. It gets you a lot of bang for your buck. It's easy to sharpen. It holds its edge relatively well compared to the price you're paying for the knife. And its maintainability is what really stands out. If you've got this and it gets a little dull, you can just throw it on a strop and strop it right back up on, I use newspaper for ARPM 9 or just raw leather. This is just a very well thought out, very well done knife. The pocket clip on it, not at all an issue. It's in a position that's really comfortable. It's a very good pocket clip. I do not dislike this specific deep carry pocket clip on this knife, but you can upgrade this to the titanium clips that they sell on their website. You absolutely can. It is reversible. And I got to tell you, for a large knife to carry this well forward in the pocket, I dig it because the pocket clip allows you to get all the way down on that. So really, really digging this knife. Now, there are obviously going to be some issues. We'll talk about those right after you guys hear from a video sponsor. Guys, did you know that Coffee Brand Coffee has more than just awesome on-demand roasted coffees and flavored coffees? They also have tea, cocoa, cold brew bags, decaf, and they have premium candies that will make your family go nuts. So check them out with the link down below to save 10% on some of the best coffee you're going to find. So a couple minor little things on this. The first one, as much as I like it, there's going to be a lot of people that look at this and be like, okay, basically I've got that much knife before I have cutting. There is a lot of space on this knife that is not dedicated to blade. I think as much as I like a good finger choil, I think that choil could have been done a little bit smaller. It could have been brought back. You would have more cutting ability and then maybe just change this hand. So blade to handle ratio is kind of out of whack, but I dig it. I still dig the knife. I really do. Next thing, the jimping. Lose the jimping or make it functional. That is just for show. There is no reason for that to be there if it's not going to be sharp. It is so, let me zoom in and show you. It is so rounded off that it just serves zero purpose. There is zero purpose to that. If you're going with aesthetics, I don't dig jimping. I don't find it attractive. The next thing, I think I would have wanted the knife a little bit thicker. I would have wanted the handle scales just a little bit thicker. It's not bad. It's still pretty comfortable, but it's right on that line of being too thin this way and too thin that way. So that's just a me thing. And then last two things. The button on this one just seems to stand up taller than some of their other knives. I would have wanted this to be maybe domed so it didn't feel, but when it's open, it really stands up proud. Can you see? It's like a millimeter above the rest of the scale material. And then, of course, the final thing. Cjrb was one of the first companies. Well, they could have thrown a couple screws in those holes, but that's not a big deal. Cjrb was one of the first companies that started doing the lanyard post inside, an internal post that had a hole in it for your lanyard. So I don't know why they would take a knife that is fairly attractive. It's really a good looking knife and then dump a big, ugly lanyard hole in it. But that's just an aesthetic preference from me. I'm not saying I don't want you guys to have an option for a lanyard. I just think that that's ugly. So is it a yup or a nup? It's a yup. I love it. I've got two of them here. This one is one I'm going to keep just for videos, keep it clean. I've got one that I carry that's all scuffed up and beat up. So guys, that's it on this one. Let's turn it around, do some final thoughts and send you out about your day.
Yeah, guys, I absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. I love the uniqueness of it. It's still functional. It's got a very interesting look. It's got a really cool feel in hand. And I just love the balance of it, but it's got so many things going for it that I really, really like. Is it my favorite knife they've done? No, I think my favorite Cjrb so far has got to be the Rhea, but this is a very, very good knife. So guys, that's it on this video. You guys know what to do. I put an ad in there. You know, there's sponsors down below. Check out the sponsors. A couple of them, Coffee Brand Coffee and Tempered Trail, have got discounts built into their links. So you can use those. Check out the coffee. It's amazing. Turn your kitchen into your new favorite coffee shop. I have affiliate links down below with most of the major vendors and an Amazon store. You can use those links to purchase anything. The Amazon store, pin it to your browser, use it for any of your Amazon shopping. Does not cost you anything at checkout. I have a membership down below. It's all tier-based. I've got a bunch of different stuff. I do giveaways. There's a private Discord. There's an exclusive premium tier sharpening tutorial series, all kinds of stuff going on there. I have a public Discord that I've built that's down below. It says join the community. Guys, that's it on this one. I love y'all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.